Do you live in a rural area and you'd like to provide more lighting on your property without having to call an electrician out to run additional wiring and something that can harness the power of the sunlight? Stay tuned now as we show you this product from HYKOONT on Let's Talk Tech today.
Hi everybody, Mike here. Thanks for tuning in today. I'd like to cover another product that HYKOONT was kind enough to send to me. It's their model SC300. It's a solar street light, and it's good for people that live in rural areas such as myself. It is powered by a 35 amp hour battery capable of producing up to 60,000 lumens at 400 watts. So let's open up the package and see what it consists of. It includes the instructions, obviously, that you would expect to see in here. And it's a 3 rows of solar lighting. Battery is contained within here. And it has a it's not a telescoping, but it's an extension pole that you can either mount to something like a basketball pole, or HYKOONT themselves actually sells a pole that you can purchase to mount these on. I'm going to actually be attaching this to my deck that's in my backyard, with the ability to provide illumination outside without having to run additional electrical wiring to power it. And it will also dim itself down, and it will go to a brighter level when it detects any motion. So let's go through the rest that is within here. Here is that extension pole. This will mount directly on the face of my deck. And here is the light itself. Not too big. It is I'm going to say about probably 20 inches overall without the extension pole. And then the solar panel on this is separate. They do have other models where the solar panels are actually built into the back of the lights, but I do like it that it is separate because it is important to make sure that your solar panel is positioned properly to the angle of the sun to maximize the amount of light that it can capture to recharge the battery to its fullest. Here's part of a mounting bracket for the solar panel. It's obviously got its mounting screws available in it. It's got a remote control, so that way you don't have to get on a ladder to make any fine tuning to the light. Another part of the bracket for the solar panel. And it appears the solar panel is down here. And this solar panel, it is a 35 watt panel. It runs on at 6 volts, which is pretty low for most common solar panels. Most of them are 12 to 24 volts, but this is obviously custom for this light. And the panel's on one side, the mounting's all done on the back. And then what you'll be able to do is I'll be able to have the flexibility to angle this properly to match my existing solar panels that I have in my backyard. And if you'd like to view that, I have a separate video that I did cover on my solar panel installations. So what I'm going to do now is pre-assemble everything and then bring it outdoors for the installation so you can see how easy it is to put this together. A couple of things I wanted to review pre-assembling this before I head outside for the permanent installation is you will need a 5/16 inch wrench in order to tighten the bolts and a Phillips head screwdriver to attach the bracket to the solar panel. One thing you do want to keep in mind that I forgot to mention, this is glass, even though it may look like it's plastic. So don't drop anything on that, and be careful when you're putting your wrenches in the backside here to not pinch the wrench between the glass and the screw. I have put the bracket at the approximate angle that I think I'm going to need, since this extension arm is already at an angle of itself. I need approximately a 30-degree angle, so this is as close as I can get. There are half a dozen or so different variations that you can get an angle using the 2 screws the way this attaches. You also want to make sure when you are putting this bracket on to have this wire out of the way, because this plug is too big in order to pull between the bracket and this plug connector, and you don't want to put any strain on that glass panel. The other thing that you will need is a longer hex wrench. This is a 7/32. This is what HYKOONT included. This is not a hex wrench, people. You need something with a little bit of torque when we're dealing with bolts that are this large in order to screw this. So my recommendation, please include a bigger hex wrench on that. And I'd also advise to include a small 5/16 wrench, because not everybody owns something like that, but everybody should have a Phillips head screw. And I also wanted to do this very quickly, that since this has the built-in battery, you can see how bright that is, and I can scale the brightness back. That's the minimum brightness that this will have. So I'm quite impressed with what this has to offer, and I'm excited to go get this set up outside. So let's head out there and do the complete installation.
The first thing you want to do is determine where on your structure or on a pole that you would want to mount this. I am actually going to mount it directly here on my deck. I've already pre-marked it. Let's get a drill. We'll drill that out and mount the mounting bracket to the deck. The overall weight of this light is not too heavy. I will just use the upper two holes to secure it to my deck using 2-inch lag bolts, which were not provided. They have a 7/16 inch head, and I will use my impact wrench to secure them. One thing I thought I'd share, there is a hole on the bottom of this pipe and on the back where the wire could be routed. Primarily, I'm sure the one on the back is for any drainage of water that may get in here, but the light assembly, when it gets mounted on here, you'll be able to take the wire from around here and tuck all the wiring inside of that pipe so it's not visible once the installation's completed. Okay, I have it all completely assembled on the deck now. You can see on the bottom that there are indicator lights to show that the battery is currently being charged from the solar panel, even though it is not receiving any direct sunlight. There is some indirect light that it will pick up that will contribute towards the charging, which is exactly what I was hoping for in this situation. I may have to re-angle the panel. I will determine that tomorrow or the next day, depending upon weather. But I'm just thinking that the slats on the spindles on the deck may cast a shadow, and any shadowing on solar panels is obviously not good. So I will have to determine that at a later point. But standing from the ground here, I can turn it on, and I can go to the maximum brightness. As you can see, I can decrease the brightness, and I will play around with that again later this evening. This light has 4 different lighting modes. You can turn it on and it will remain on, and you have the different levels of brightness that you can control. It has a what they call manual mode, and what it does is it senses motion. It will lower it down to about 30% of maximum brightness, but when motion is detected, it will increase it to the maximum brightness for about a minute after motion is no longer detected. There's a sunrise to sunset mode, and then there's also a mode where you can choose 3, 6, or 8 hours of illumination, and then it will automatically turn itself off. As I pan here, I have about 20 feet in all directions of the light where the illumination is very nice and bright, but as I walk further away from it, you can tell from my shadow that here I am about 20 feet from the light and my shadow is minimal. I would ideally need another light over in this corner of the yard to give me good illumination, but overall I have to say that this is quite impressive for something that did not require any wiring and is easy to install and it took me probably 10 minutes to put it in. Right now I'm standing about 15 feet away from the light, and you cannot see me, and you see a little bit of the twilight in the sky behind me. As I slowly walk towards the light, I'm now at about 10 feet. The light kicked in. You can see me clearly, and it is very nice illumination from this, and I must say I'm very impressed with this. Um, Let me switch the mode here. I have this on motion sensing right now, and as you can see, it detects motion as you get close upon the light. Here's a view from above the deck where you can see the area of coverage and how bright the illumination is. We hope you enjoyed today's review of the HYKOONT SC300 solar street light. We definitely recommend this to individuals that don't want to go through the hassle of trying to run hard wiring in for spotlights. And this gives you the ability that it will detect the motion and turn itself off and on automatically. We will have links in our video description for this particular item, as well as the pole that we mentioned earlier in the video that you could mount this on if you don't want to mount it to any of your existing structures on your property. And if you are not already subscribed to our channel, we would appreciate it if you would click the subscribe and the like button. Our 1 year anniversary is actually this Thursday on July 4th, and we would love to get our subscribers above 500. On behalf of all of us at Let's Talk Tech today, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.